depending on the size of the project, there are times in which you have someone else on the project team who serves as the major person that is in charge of contracts, major person that is in charge of, managing vendors and all of that. So we usually call them, they're usually called procurement managers. Now, despite having procurement managers to handle a lot of the technical nitty-gritty of procurement, what is the role of the project manager? So if you have a project in which you have a procurement manager, and of course you have a project manager, what should the project manager be doing? Because if the project manager has delegated a lot of nitty-gritty of procurement to the procurement manager, now, okay, so let's discuss some of these things. The project manager still has some very important role to play, including number one, being able to read and understand the contract. That's a very important point. You should be able to read and understand the contract. It's not just about, just handing over everything to the procurement manager and you don't really understand what is going on. It's very, 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 very dangerous. It also includes ensuring that the scope of the work and project management requirements are captured and included in the contract. So, as much as you have delegated so much to the procurement manager, you should also be involved in drawing the contract, because you have done the project scoping, you understand the requirements, not just the procurement manager is not necessarily involved in a lot of the scoping of the project. So, if you've done all of this, it's your responsibility to ensure that the contract that the procurement manager would be administering and managing, you want to ensure that the right amount of effort has been put into to capture the requirements of the stakeholders. So the project manager also does a lot of work in identifying risks and creating the appropriate risk response plans for risk mitigation and of course all the other strategies you have discussed before now. It is not the role of the procurement manager to be doing risk management. The role of the procurement manager is to administer the contracts and follow up on the contractors and all of that. But the core role of managing risk on the project still lies on the project manager. So you need to manage the risk that is involved or associated with procurement process. You also need to tailor the contract to the unique needs of the project. You should be involved during contract negotiations to maintain the relationship with the seller. A lot of negotiations, you will be doing so much of negotiation when you are procuring, because you'll be dealing with vendors, contractors and all of that. So you want to negotiate well. You cannot just, let the procurement manager alone handle all of this. So you should be involved. You should protect the integrity of the contract, correct? And then ensure that all the work, such as reporting, inspection, and the legal deliverables are met. The release of liens, ownership of materials is another critical activity of the project manager.